Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy MKS, the fourth and final part of Black Saturdays. I hope you enjoy it. Just try and check, make sure I've put the right title in again, but part 4, because sometimes I forget to change the number. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this. And I thought for this one, I would talk about, I often do, like talk about what I would have liked to have happened. I suppose what I would like to do ASAP now, or what I would like to achieve ASAP. Possibly be part of my legacy, if you like, for what it's worth, and also possibly try and phrase it also as a question as well. So it's kind of like 2 parts. So one, what I'd like to do, or what I would have liked to have done, or what I would like to do, and any advice you have on how I could perhaps do so ASAP. So anyway, I hope people out there enjoy it, and especially Black people and their supporters, allies, or whatnot, and families, and family, friends, and anyone who's interested in Black history and culture. Excuse me, and empowerment ideas. So these are ideas number 31 to 40, just in case anyone new might be watching. Hopefully I'll eventually get some new viewers. But anyway, as I say, I hope people out there do enjoy these videos, and I'd love to know. I know I mentioned it in the last video a few times, but I'd love to know if anyone would be interested, anyone from the Black community, or an ally of the Black community, or supporter of the Black community, or whatnot, or any sort of organisation maybe who have supported the Black community. If you would be interested in doing an interview, please let me know. And I'd try and interview and put you on the channel if you like, if you're interested, if you'd be interested in something like that. And also, if people would be interested in a Zoom group, which could talk about how to work on Black empowerment, and maybe also I'd love to do a Zoom group which looks at how to empower people, especially from Africa as well, and Indigenous Australasians and things like that. So, or even developing countries, maybe generally, or an anti-imperialist group. It could be another one, like supporting people from former colonies. But anyway, I'm going to crack on with ideas number 31 to 40. So here goes. So number 31. By now, I would have loved to have supported as many Black startups as possible, and I hope to achieve that by the end of the month. But I know it's only including tonight, which is nearly finished already. I suppose, well, let's say from tomorrow, it's 29th, 30th, and 31st. So there's 3 days left, and the third day of that, I hope to focus on Halloween, watching scary videos. But basically, let's say ASAP. Now, I suppose, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get done. So even I know I'm probably not, almost certainly not going to get anything done before the end of the month, before November. But I'll try and do so ASAP. But I suppose the question I would like to ask as part of number 31 is, what do you think would be the best ways for me to achieve that goal, i.e. to support Black-owned startups and, let's say, SMEs as well? And number 32, I'd also love to support Black singers and songwriters ASAP. I suppose, again, I would have loved to have done so already by now, but I hope to do so ASAP. As I say, I need extra time, being dyslexic and all that kind of thing. But I'd love to know, as I say, also, and again, what do you think are the best ways to support Black singers and songwriters? I suppose one way is to sort of support their music and listen to their songs and things like that, possibly on YouTube or elsewhere. But I'd love to know any suggestions you have. I suppose buy their music is another thing, or whatnot. I can't really think of any others, but if you can, please post them in the comments. Again, I hope people will read those comments and share their ideas with each other, and talk about what ways to do that kind of thing to achieve these kind of goals. Number 33, I would love to look at I would love to support Black people to be empowered as much as possible in Britain and all around the world, and how and connect them together, and talk about what freedom means to them, and again interview members of the Black community in Britain and around the world, and have different Zoom groups, some interviews as well with Black British people, and also people from Africa, Australasia, like Aboriginals and people like that, and people from all different backgrounds, Black people from all around the world, and again their supporters and allies and organisations who might want to look at ways to support Black people. Sometimes one-to-one interviews, and sometimes doing general Zoom groups. So there could be organisations, there could be maybe invited. Maybe we could invite the Barclays or NatWest or all sorts of banks and businesses, and look at ways that they could support the black community in Britain and around the world. And again, I'd love to know your suggestions on that. How can we generally support black people to feel free, and especially people from the black community themselves? I'd love to know, what do you think would make black people more freer? I talk about like investments and like having potential FU money, so to speak. So if you don't like your job, you can quit it and things like that. If you no longer like it, or you don't like it, you don't like your boss or whatever. Number 34. Do you have any other ideas? I'd love to know if you have any other ideas. But as I say, I'd love to empower as many people as possible. Again, normally I stick to a certain theme for a certain day. So it could be like for Saturdays, it would be like startups, singers, songwriters, singer-songwriters, obviously, scientists, people in STEM, or all sorts of things that begin with S, basically, stand-up comedians and things like that, black stand-up and that kind of thing, and TV shows. I'd love to know what shows you think black people could and or should make, obviously with legal permission, things like that. Number 35, for instance, could there be a black version of, trying to think of the word now, the name of it, Only Fools and Horses, or shows like that? Could there be, or different sitcoms or different shows generally? Obviously, I think the original creators or whoever owns the rights to such would have to be consulted. Maybe that's an idea that they could be interested in, because that might be something that helps their say business. I suppose it is kind of a business, but it would help them perhaps financially as well. To have such shows, it's something more that they could do. And also like Deal or No Deal, Countdown, a show called Pointless, which I talked before about, and things like that. But also like black people creating their own shows, and also on YouTube maybe they could talk about like if Only Fools and Horses was made by black people or something like that. And also how could we have more representation of black people on shows in Britain? Also, especially positive representation, like not being shown in negative roles or stereotypical roles, but they could be like in more positive roles. But again, I'd love to know what you think about that. Like there could be more who are on TV shows as business people or doctors or things like that, which are more empowering sort of roles. But again, I'd love to know what you think about that. Number 36. Once again, if I could have done, I would have loved to have put into practice my ideas, including getting in Italy itself, as a fan of Italian football, as I often say, I would love to have got the migrants, especially from Africa, to. I would have loved to have looked at how Italian football, the FIGC, i.e. the Italian FA, Serie B, and all the other leagues, and possibly even the grassroots level, and Italian politicians and the councils and whatnot could look at how black people how to improve relations between Italians and black people through football, soccer, or calcio as they call it in Italy, soccer Saturdays, sticking to alliterations, and especially for any Americans who might be watching, hopefully out there, all being well. But yeah, I'd love for Italians to understand those ideas. I'd love to explain it in a way Italians understand and say that would be pretty interesting. And like the migrants who come in could be utilized, shall we say, to a mutual benefit, to make stadiums, help to build stadiums and opportunities like places and spaces for Italians to play football, soccer, and also any migrants themselves could also, as well as helping to build the stadium, so those who are good at building, I think it'd be good to help them to have a safe passage to Italy, and also so it's a safer way for them to get to Europe and to be in Italy, but also they show they're contributing by helping to build the stadiums and to build new facilities and spaces and places for soccer, for sport, in this case soccer, in Italy, and also getting to play such. And I'd love to do so ASAP. I'd love to encourage such a thing ASAP. So hopefully it will improve relations, as I say, between Italians and black people through soccer. My goals for that would be, from a selfish point of view, to benefit Italian soccer, and also, I suppose, a bit of ego make me feel good to put these ideas into action. And from less selfish point of view, so I suppose for my own self as a fan of Italian soccer, and something to work on, something to be proud of, and also to benefit Italian soccer, and also, but from a less selfish point of view, to benefit people from Africa or the black diaspora who go to Italy and showcase what they could do and hopefully improve relations. And I suppose the question would be, how do you think I could put that into action? I suppose that's the question for all of these ones. That how do you think I could implement such a thing? How do you think I can encourage the Italian politicians, FA, and all those involved in football, and how could I encourage Italy itself to all get involved in football, all the citizens, including the migrants, refugees, and maybe if Italians treat them better, they will be more inclined to benefit to benefit society through helping to make Italian soccer great again. I put soccer in speech marks. But anyhow, yeah. So moving on, number 37, same for Celtic. I'm going to make that quite quick and short, hopefully, because I know I covered the other one in great detail. But so yeah, as soon as possible, I would love to get black people to work with Celtic FC and vice versa to a mutual benefit. I know Celtic have already done a lot of work in Africa, but maybe they could look at how, as a club, they could help black British startups and SMEs as part of their foundation, the Celtic FC Foundation, and hopefully be rewarded well for such. Rewarded handsomely, as they say. But as the saying goes, because hopefully more British people and black people around the world will support Celtic FC and see they're open for everyone, white, black, or other, Asian, mixed race and whatnot as well. And again, a similar thing, maybe black people who have experience of building from Africa Celtic could help them to get a safe passage to Glasgow, and they could help the club, and maybe even all around the world in their home countries as well, so they don't even need to migrate perhaps, but they could help the club to build soccer stadiums and facilities, space and places for football for Celtic, and also join the academies. Celtic could have academies for people from Africa and black people around the world, as well as supporting startups and SMEs, and hopefully in the future they will reward the club by supporting the club. Hopefully we'll have more CSC, Celtic supporters clubs. I did say I'd try and keep that short and sweet, but in those countries and communities, and also have more players from those backgrounds who can help the club. Again, I'd love to know any suggestions on how that could be implemented. Any fans of Italian soccer and or Celtic FC could share those ideas especially. I welcome all suggestions as ever. Number 38, how can we generally empower people? And again, I hope to do so ASAP. I would love to have achieved more by now, but maybe in November, I don't know, maybe like, let's say, it's like I need extra time. Maybe I'll get there eventually. Number 39, if you have any other ideas, please feel free to share them. And number 40, again, I would love to support at least 40 SME startups, SMEs, singers, singer-songwriters, songwriters themselves, people to launch their own stand-up comedy, and also black people to have more confidence to start their own projects and work together as a community and have each other's back, and also possibly again investing together, so they have like an investment portfolio for black people in Britain and around the world, where it's like a trusted investment where black people around the world, including in Britain, as I say, can put their money into that trust fund or portfolio or investment part or whatever you want to call it, and it could help them to make more money. And maybe also look at ways, maybe there could be legal ways where black people get to save money on their mortgage and their bills and even shopping, things like that. But I'd love to know again any suggestions on how they could do that legally, and maybe they could lobby together. Maybe that could be a form of reparations or things like that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it, although I do get a bit nervous, but I do love to share my ideas. And again, I would love to read yours and hear yours. And I'm out. Peace and love.